By every objective measure, I'm the most famous ghostwriter in the world, but I did not get my start as a ghostwriter. I got my start as a novelist. When I was 20 years old, I got a 2-book publishing deal from a very small independent press. That experience, marketing those books, signing copies, going on author panels and book fairs, and going to local libraries and speaking and doing all these things, that ended up bringing me across 2 business people's radar. Both of them turned out, read my book, and they said, Joshua, I've wanted to write a book longer than you've been alive. Can you help me write mine? And I said, okay, fine, sure, I'll help you with your book. And I've been saying, okay, fine, sure, I'll help you with your book ever since. I began 13 and a half years ago, almost 14 years now, as a ghostwriter, and I have ghostwritten 96 full-length nonfiction and fiction books alike. In 2024 alone, I had 2 New York Times bestsellers, co-authored, so my name was on them, Unhumans with Jack Posobiec, about the secret history of communist revolutions. It was wildly popular, and it was essential in framing the election as Trump or communism. And the language and the messaging of that book was used by Donald J. Trump himself and those in his sphere who had influence. We followed that up with a book that's sort of a spiritual sequel called Bulletproof, which Donald Trump himself endorsed. Of course, Vice President Vance endorsed Unhumans. I did another book, this one right here, called Lies I Taught in Medical School with Dr. Robert Lufkin, also a New York Times bestseller, just 3 weeks before Unhumans was on the list, which is great fun. But I bring this up to you today because I am going to be returning to my roots at some point soon. And I want you to consider doing this as well. Fiction is how you tell the truth. Remember this. Fiction is how you tell the truth. I have criticized the Mary Sue phenomenon greatly, but I attempted to do it better. Recently, I began a series called Level Up or Die. It's a LitRPG steampunk adventure with Attachment Bro, aka Adam Lane Smith. One of our objectives was to show a real male and a real female, a masculine male on his hero's journey, and a supportive feminine female, and showing that ideal dynamic. This is definitely a story for guys who play video games, guys who are nerds, guys who geek out on kind of stuff, guys who still like The Phantom Menace, given what it is, who think Jar Jar's okay. This is sort of the book for you. Co-authored this, it released almost 4 years ago now. But I intend to return to fiction myself in order to teach truths that are not taught really any other way. I want to, at some point, co-author a fiction series with Elon Musk himself, where we elucidate the problems of physics and engineering, so on and so forth, aerodynamics, space travel, terraforming. I want to elucidate the problems that will need to be solved in order for Mars to be colonized. That's an ambition that I have, doing that with him, in the same way that Robert Goddard learned from Jules Verne about from the novel From the Earth to the Moon, and how that novel relayed a number of problems that were associated with spaceflight and rocketry. Robert Goddard, as a young boy, read that book and set out to solving those problems. And he did. There's a direct connection between science fiction, imagining the impossible becoming possible, and SpaceX being successful today. And I want to carry that forwards from Robert Goddard to Muskville on Mars. And I think you might consider doing the same in your world and in your space, writing a novel instead of nonfiction. Consider that for your author aspirations in 2025. If you did do a story, what truth would you communicate that you could not communicate any other way? Think about that.